Now, I want to invest into getting involved with the IRC, the film festival, and bringing the globe here. Because the time that you were establishing this is when America was trying to curl up its borders and say, everybody stay out, somebody has attacked us, we're hurting now, and yet you were saying, let's keep the world coming in. This isn't the way to shut the borders and not let anybody in or out.
Right. It takes actually, after all these years of trying to figure out how things work, it takes a very broad reach of one's own efforts to get a small percentage return. It's like marketing. If you're marketing a good thing or a positive thing, you still have to do the same thing as you reach out everywhere. And then just by the statistical things, if you talk to 100 people, just 2 people may respond to you. That's the kind of thing which people shouldn't get discouraged by, to say, you know what, I talked to 5 people and they all called me names. It doesn't matter, because 5 people will probably think you're nuts or you don't agree with them, but if you keep going, you will pick out those who think like you, who want to belong to your way of thought, and those who are on the fringe, whom you reach out to, may join you, to say, so you made that effort. So if it is locally, you talk to more and more people. For the 6-7 years now, I've been on the board at UCR, I've been RCC at CBU. They've all invited me in and I look like a foreigner, though I'm an American. There's no doubt about where I've come from, and I don't try and hide it, because America and the USA is built on that equation. So I don't have to worry about what I look like, because I am an American. So they've adopted, and then let's move on from there. So I think it's that kind of thinking of reaching out to human beings are kind of the same everywhere, and they all have love and hate and desires and all the emotions that we all have. It's to be able to find those good emotions in those people who may not even know they have them. Just give them an opportunity, and that makes sense. About the closing of borders and international thing, I think if one group dislikes us as a country, that doesn't mean everybody else does. They may have their sphere of influence with negativity, but that doesn't mean that you can't fight it with your spheres of influence of positivity. Ultimately, it's good and evil, bad, and if it depends who takes it, a higher road or so you can't fight that with the same attitude of war, as you say, because if you do, then you have a war on your hands. But if you dampen it down and absorb it and then continue with your positive attitudes, ultimately you will win, because there are lots of people out there with positive attitudes. I think that's how, at least in my mind, it works. Plus it's the fact that there is something to what Gandhi and Martin Luther King and others who have followed that path. Is not so much of non-violence, but it is the ability to absorb the violence. Because you have to be very, very strong to absorb it and not react to it. And they had the strength to do it. A lot of ordinary mortals don't, because when they first see negativity, first see aggression, the normal thing is to respond with aggression. But if you can absorb it and then respond with reason in a way that ultimately the other person is tired out and wants to listen to you, then you can bring them over to your side. And I think that's how they won their battles. And they left, I think, a reasonable area of good examples that I think a lot of people can follow. So this, again, my thinking. It means anything or not. Really, except I know that I've always responded to music. I think music seems to be the underlying part of the arts, which can take you into a very reasonable part of your mind.
Okay.
Good music, we all respond. Music I like from India
Yes.
may not be the people in China because they have their traditional music, and it may jar on each other's nerves,
Yes.
but it's still music.
Yes.
So to me it was always music. I like Western music, I like Indian music, I like English music, folk music. So that may have been something because that's part of it. But then the creative process, you said scientists, I always think of, as scientists we like to do research, analyze, and then put it in a paper, discuss it as a scientific with evidence. What now we call is very, very popular is evidence-based medicine. If you have a thought, if you have a diagnosis, it has to be based on evidence. So to me, making a movie is very much like writing a paper in creativity. Because you have to do your research, you have to put people together, you have to make sure that the script is the way it should be. Is there a similar script, because then it won't work, because it's like a different paper. You know?
Okay.
So right from the script and your research and how you put your team together, how you condense this broad concept down to a script, to a movie, which you then, like you shoot 4 hours of movie, but you have to make 98 minutes. How do you then edit out all the stuff that you don't think belongs to that movie? So it is a little, to me, like the two things, there is a similarity. So you can handle it, being scientifically creative.
To put it on my channel for education, but I would like for you, for a child or a student somewhere in the world who feels that education may be